Most people think saving money is the key to getting rich, clutching every dollar as if it were oxygen, convinced that hoarding is protection. But Machiavelli would smirk at such fear because he knew safety is the disguise of servitude. A lie sold to the obedient so they never challenged the masters who built the system. The truth is that money dies in stillness. It was never meant to sleep. It's meant to march. The wealthy don't hold their money. They command it. Deploy it like legions spreading across the battlefield, each dollar a soldier sent to seize ground, build alliances, and conquer new power. The poor keep their coins locked away, mistaking paralysis for prudence, guarding decay as though it were treasure. But decay doesn't reward devotion, it consumes it. Since childhood you've been trained to fear loss, taught to play it safe, to save for the rainy day, to equate caution with wisdom. But those lessons were not protection, they were conditioning. They were the invisible chains tying you to the bottom of the hierarchy. Because the master sees loss differently. He uses it, he turns risk into leverage. He understands that fortune bends to those who move first, not to those who freeze. Every empire was born from the audacity to spend when others hid their gold. Every dynasty was carved by hands willing to sacrifice comfort for control. Machiavelli wrote that fortune favors the bold, and in every era, that truth bleeds through the soil. Power is not a reward for the timid, it's the trophy of those who strike before permission is granted. Ask yourself why billionaires invest millions when they could easily rest in comfort. Why they keep building, expanding, moving. Because they know stagnation is the silent death of fortune. Idle money rots. Motion preserves. Inflation steals your stored wealth while fear steals your future. And while you hesitate, someone else is buying the freedom you're too cautious to touch. That is the law of the game. Money despises stillness. It multiplies through movement, through chaos, through precise aggression. The average man saves to feel safe. The rich invest to gain control. So when you see the wealthy pay thousands to enter private masterminds or elite dinners, don't call it waste, it's strategy. It's positioning, it's paying for proximity to power, because information and access compound faster than interest ever will. Meanwhile, the average person will brag about saving a few dollars at the grocery store, unaware that their savings bought nothing but the illusion of control. The real divide between the rich and the poor isn't just in their wallets, it's in their worldview. One sees money as leverage. The other sees it as a lifeboat, but no one climbs to power by holding tight to a lifeboat. You can't protect your way to dominance. You have to purchase it. Every dollar you move is a declaration of who you are, an investor in expansion or a worshiper of comfort. Think about it. Someone hands you $1. Most will spend it on distraction, a fleeting hit of pleasure, an upgrade that feeds ego but not evolution. Yet that same dollar could be a seed, a course, a tool, a conversation that compounds into 10,000 later. The tragedy is that most trade power for dopamine, direction for validation. Life doesn't punish them for being wrong, it punishes them for being afraid. Your financial choices are reflections of your internal hierarchy. Money is not a trophy to polish, it's a weapon to wield. The moment you treat it like something sacred, you surrender its potential. The game doesn't reward preservation, it rewards precision and aggression. No one pays you to stay safe. They pay you to risk with reason, to move while others wait. You can't build an empire from a savings account. You build it by stepping into discomfort until it becomes your default environment. But here's where most fail. They confuse motion with meaning. They spend to feel alive instead of to become lethal. Not all spending is equal. Spending to escape is weakness. Spending to expand is power. The wealthy move their money like chess pieces. Deliberate, detached, strategic. Every dollar is a soldier sent to eliminate inefficiency, buy time, gather data, secure position. The poor, on the other hand, spend to escape the mirror of their mediocrity. They buy the feeling of success instead of building it. It's not about how much you have, it's about how you direct it. And if you think this is greed, you've missed the essence. This is about survival in a world that devours hesitation. Movement is evolution. Stasis is death. Opportunities don't wait for confidence. They decay like fruit in the sun. Machiavelli called it the death of fortune, the moment momentum abandons you because you chose fear over forward motion. So look at yourself honestly. How many times have you delayed a decision that could have changed your trajectory? How many doors have stayed closed because you were counting dollars instead of outcomes? The cruel truth is you couldn't afford to wait. Every hesitation was a transaction paid in time, and time is the only currency that never refunds. Every dollar either expands your reach or tightens your cage. Buying distractions is voting for weakness. Investing in mastery is voting for sovereignty. The poor think in prices. The rich think in costs. A poor man says, "That's too expensive." A rich man asks, "What's the cost of not doing it?" That single shift in thought separates the followers from the rulers. Because this game, the real game, isn't for the cautious. It's for the calculated. You've been told patience is a virtue. Machiavelli would disagree. Patience is only a virtue when weaponized, when it's strategic, when it's used to strike at the precise moment advantage reveals itself. The powerful don't wait to feel ready. They act to become ready. Every second of hesitation transfers your advantage to someone hungrier. Here's the brutal irony. While your savings sleep, they work for your masters. Your bank lends your fear to others who build with it. You think you're protecting your money, but really, your money is protecting the powerful. You think you're playing smart, but you're financing your own irrelevance. The world isn't cruel, it's indifferent. It rewards the mover, the manipulator, the one who can turn capital into control. It devours the rest. Once you see this, guilt evaporates. You stop apologizing for ambition. You stop worshiping scarcity. You stop asking for permission to ascend. You understand that reckless spending and strategic spending aren't cousins, they're enemies. Machiavelli wrote that fortune favors not the gambler, but the strategist, the man who places his bets not in desperation, but in dominance. The gambler throws his coins to chance. The strategist directs them toward conquest. That is the first law of wealth. Every dollar is a decision, and every decision either fortifies your rule or feeds your ruin. Now that you understand that motion is the foundation, you're ready for the next law. Spend to build capability. The poor spend money to feel better. The rich spend it to become better. That single distinction defines destiny, because at the end of the day, wealth is not measured in possessions, it's measured in potential. Your income, your influence, your reach, they all trace back to one variable: capability. Not effort, not luck, capability. The powerful buy speed, they buy skill, they buy certainty. They don't hoard, they sharpen. That's why they pay to learn from winners, instead of wasting years collecting free advice from failures. The world says knowledge is free, but that's the biggest lie of all. Free costs years, paid costs dollars. One steals time, the other compresses it. The wealthy understand that information without access is noise. They spend to enter the rooms where wisdom circulates unfiltered, where decades of experience condense into days of clarity. The poor argue over paying $100 for a course, while the rich pay $10,000 for one conversation that rewires their entire trajectory. Because that one conversation saves years of trial and error. That's not expense, that's acceleration. The poor man thinks, "I can't afford it." The rich man knows, "I can't afford not to." I once knew two men. One refused to spend $200 to learn a new skill. The other paid it without hesitation. The first man lost 2 years wandering in confusion. The second made $5,000 a month within 90 days. What's the real cost? The 200 or the 2 years? Being cheap with money makes you expensive in time, and time is the one thing you'll never buy back. Every time you hesitate to invest in yourself, remember, you're not saving money, you're buying delay. You're renting mediocrity. You're choosing paralysis dressed as prudence. Machiavelli would laugh at such timid calculation. He'd remind you that fortune decays like fruit unpicked. Wait too long and what could have nourished you turns into rot. The bold act. The wise spend to sharpen their edge before the storm hits. So the next time you move money, ask not, does it feel good? But does it make me more capable? Does it make me more dangerous in my field? Power isn't born in comfort. It's forged in sharpening. Sharpening of mind, skill, position. And speaking of position, understand this. Capability without positioning is like a blade hidden in darkness. The world rewards visibility, not virtue. You can be brilliant, but if no one sees you, your brilliance dies in silence. The rich know this. They buy positioning. They buy access.
They pay to sit in rooms where the next decade is decided before the rest of the world catches up.
They don't wait to be discovered. They purchase discovery. Because proximity to power multiplies it. It's not enough to be good. The right people must know you're good. And that, as Machiavelli would whisper, doesn't happen by chance. It happens by design. In the art of power, movement is everything. The world doesn't reward those who merely breathe. It rewards those who move, deliberately, strategically, like a hunter circling prey. Machiavelli knew this. Stagnation is death disguised as comfort. Every empire that ever fell, every man who lost his crown, began their downfall the moment they stood still. The world belongs to the one who steps first, not to the one who waits. And yet most men mistake motion for movement. They chase, they scramble, they exhaust themselves. But movement, real movement, is silent, precise, and planned. The lion doesn't roar before it strikes. It studies the herd until the perfect moment to leap. Machiavelli wrote that fortune favors the bold, but only when boldness is guided by calculation. So ask yourself, when you move, do you move with intent, or do you dance to the rhythm of fear? Every decision is a step, and each step echoes across the game of life. Power moves are never obvious. They're disguised as patience, as restraint, as silence. In a world addicted to noise, the one who moves without announcing it controls the tempo of all who follow. Movement is not just the act of doing. It's the art of deciding when not to. Every master knows that. Capability then becomes the weapon forged from this movement. The one who can do more than others, but reveals less than he knows, holds leverage even before the game begins. Machiavelli saw capability as armor, visible enough to warn enemies, concealed enough to breed uncertainty. The capable man doesn't compete. He redefines the terms of the competition. He makes others dance to his rhythm, while appearing as though he's merely participating. To become capable is not to be seen working. It's to make the difficult seem effortless. The capable man bends time, bends people, bends outcomes, all without appearing to move at all. But capability means nothing without positioning, because in every battlefield, be it war, politics, or the quiet grind of ambition, where you stand decides if you live or vanish. Position is not just location. It's perception. Machiavelli understood that to appear powerful is often more valuable than to be powerful. The crowd doesn't look beneath the armor. It worships the shine. That's why the master never reveals the foundation of his strength. He stands where eyes can see, but his roots lie in places unseen. Position yourself where advantage breathes naturally, where opportunity flows toward you instead of you chasing it. The weak move toward power. The wise position themselves so that power moves toward them. That's how rulers are made. And when positioning merges with capability, leverage is born, the invisible hand that tilts the world in your favor. Leverage is what separates the worker from the king, the player from the master. It's the unseen weight behind every decision, the silent threat that bends others without raising your voice. Machiavelli warned that control is rarely taken by force. It's given willingly by those who believe they're safe. That's leverage, the ability to make others think they're acting freely while serving your design. To build leverage, you must see what others miss, their fears, their habits, their dependencies. Every man wants something, approval, comfort, validation. And whoever controls that desire controls the man. You don't need to fight every battle when you can make others fight for you. That's the beauty of Machiavellian power. It's indirect, subtle, psychological. The strong lift swords. The wise lift strings. And those strings move nations. But leverage is useless if wasted on time, because time is the one enemy you can never defeat. Machiavelli taught that fortune is a river, uncontrollable when wild, but manageable when channeled. Most drown in time because they fail to respect it. The powerful use it like a weapon. They know when to wait and when to strike. They use the stillness of time to let others reveal their weaknesses. The impatient chase opportunity. The master builds it. To rule time is to rule consequence, because every delay, every pause, every silence is a move in disguise. Those who seem inactive are often arranging the pieces for a decisive blow. The fool rushes. The Machiavellian waits. But waiting is not the same as idleness. It's a test of discipline, of faith in one's own design. Those who rush become tools in someone else's timeline. Those who master time write history. And yet, there's one more secret. The power of substitution. When the world resists you, replace it. When a plan collapses, shift the board. Machiavelli knew that rigidity breaks empires. Adaptation builds them. Every strategy is temporary, every method replaceable. What remains eternal is the principle, survival through transformation. The powerful never cling, they shed skins, masks, and methods without hesitation. When the world changes, they don't mourn the old.
They invent the new.
They don't fight chaos, they ride it. That's why the Machiavellian mind is feared, because it cannot be trapped by the patterns others live in. It doesn't depend on fairness, mercy, or order. It depends only on the unbreakable will to remain standing after every collapse. In a world built on illusion, substitution is the art of creating new illusions before the old ones fade. You become untouchable not by resisting the storm, but by becoming the wind that shapes it. Power, after all, is not owned. It's maintained. Every generation inherits the game, but only the few understand its rules. The rest are moved like pieces, convinced they're playing. Movement, capability, positioning, leverage, time, substitution. These are not steps, but layers. Each one feeds the next. Each one sharpens the blade. Machiavelli didn't teach survival. He taught dominance. To move without emotion. To build without dependence. To rise without noise. Because the loudest in the room may gather attention, but it's the silent one who gathers power. You must learn to play unseen. Let others speak, argue, exhaust themselves. Every word they utter reveals a weakness. Every action they take exposes a need. Your power begins the moment you stop reacting and start designing. Think like an architect, not a soldier. Soldiers fight battles. Architects build empires that outlast them. And when you build, build in shadows. For light invites envy, and envy breeds destruction. The true Machiavellian doesn't seek praise. He seeks permanence, and permanence is never gifted. It's engineered, one silent move at a time.